Picture this: Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is at some public event, and a little 5-year-old kid in the crowd points to a car and just says what's on his mind. And just like that, the next day, a brand new Mercedes shows up at the kid's house. I mean, wow. This one tiny moment, it's the perfect window into a world of wealth and power that is almost impossible to wrap your head around. A world we're about to dive into. So today, we're pulling back the curtain on the incredible world of Saudi Arabia's super rich elite. This is a place where the rules of money, power, and luxury are on a completely different planet. Okay, so to really get this, we first have to understand the sheer scale of the wealth we're talking about. And yeah, the easy answer is just oil, but trust me, the reality is way more complicated than that. Take a look at these numbers. They really put things into perspective. In 2023, Saudi Arabia's GDP hit about $335 billion. That absolutely dwarfs the economies of so many other nations in the region. This economic firepower, yeah, it was built on oil, but now it's expanding like crazy. It's the foundation for everything else we're about to see. But here's the crucial thing to understand. It's not just about being rich. It's about a totally different kind of rich. You know, you see American billionaires and a lot of their wealth is tied up in stocks, in assets. They have massive tax bills. But the Saudi elite, they are swimming in liquid cash in a super low tax environment, and that accessibility is key. It means they have truly staggering amounts of disposable income, ready to go at a moment's notice. But in Saudi Arabia, having a ton of money is only half the battle. The other half, and you could argue it's the more important part, is power. So get this, the Saudi royal family is the richest in the entire world. Their collective fortune is estimated at over $2 trillion. So you'd think the king must be the most powerful person, right? Well, not necessarily. This is where it gets really interesting. The way things are structured right now in the kingdom, it's actually the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS, who holds the reins of absolute power. And this shows you a really important idea. In this world, influence is a currency that can be even more valuable than cash. It doesn't matter how big your bank account is if someone else is making all the rules. And we saw this play out in 2017. MBS launched what he called an anti-corruption campaign. Hundreds of the most powerful people in the country, royals, businessmen, you name it, were detained. This included Prince Al-Waleed bin Talal, a guy who was literally a billionaire many times over, even wealthier than the crown prince himself. It was a shocking move that sent a clear message. In this kingdom, his power is absolute. So, what happens when you combine that kind of limitless cash with that kind of absolute power? Well, you get a lifestyle that is, frankly, almost impossible for the rest of us to even imagine. For the young Saudi elite, some things are just standard. Fleets of supercars are basically like collector's items. Having exotic pets like lions and tigers, totally normal status symbols. Private jets aren't just for long trips, they're for whatever you feel like doing. And, get this, their pet falcons, which are a huge symbol of prestige, fly first class on a plane. But let's get specific. There's Prince Turki bin Abdullah, who's famous for his car collection. We're not talking about your average luxury cars here. We're talking custom gold-plated Lamborghinis. And the estimated price tag? $8 million for one car. Think that's a lot? Okay, how about this? Back in 2015, when he was just 29, MBS dropped $50 million to rent an entire private island in the Maldives for a month-long party. He flew in 150 models from Brazil and Russia. The entertainment? Oh, just Pitbull, Jennifer Lopez, and Shakira. And to make sure nobody posted about it, all smartphones were banned. And if renting an island isn't enough, why not just buy a floating palace? Not long after that party, MBS dropped $500 million on the Serene, a 439-foot super yacht with 2 helipads, a submarine dock, and an underwater viewing room. But honestly, maybe nothing captures the sheer, over-the-top excess quite like this. In the palaces of the Saudi elite, even the most normal, everyday objects get a makeover. Golden toilets, starting at $2,000 a pop, are a real thing. It's luxury on a level that is just surreal. But here's the twist. Here is the central paradox of this whole incredible lifestyle. You can have all the money in the world, but that does not mean you have all the freedom. And this really highlights that contradiction perfectly. On one hand, you've got gold-plated cars, private island parties, diamond everything. But on the other hand, you live in a society with some very strict rules. Gender segregation is common, public movie theaters were banned for years, and for a long time, women faced really heavy travel restrictions. It's a true gilded cage. Now, it is really important to point out that things are changing. In 2018, the reform that finally gave women the right to drive was a huge deal, a major milestone. It's a signal of a real shift happening, even inside this very regulated environment. So what drives the man at the center of all this? To really understand his ambition, you have to look at his backstory, because it's pretty surprising. This right here is the key to understanding him. Unlike a lot of his relatives, MBS's side of the family wasn't rolling in cash when he was young. His own father was reportedly in debt. And you have to imagine that this early experience, feeling financial limits while knowing your family is one of the richest on earth, that seems to have fueled this relentless drive for both wealth and power. The guy was always an entrepreneur. By the time he was 16, he'd already saved up $100,000 just from trading luxury stuff his family gave him. From there, he got into stocks, and then he even started his own companies. Everything from real estate to trash collection. The hustle was there from a very, very young age. And that intense drive? Well, it sometimes came out in pretty ruthless ways. He allegedly earned the nickname Father of the Bullet after he reportedly sent an actual bullet to a land official who was standing in his way. It's a name that really reflects this uncompromising, do-whatever-it-takes approach that has defined his entire rise to power. So all of this leaves us with one final big thought. We've seen the unbelievable wealth, the absolute power. We've seen the lifestyle that just boggles the mind. But it seems like it all comes from this young man who, at one point, felt like he didn't have enough. So the real question is, when that kind of hunger is driving everything, where does the road